It's safe to say Freddie Gibbs Alfredo was an album made in the perfect time, a time of injustices, Black Lives Matter movement, a culture tired of the wrongdoings of African Americans, causing an explosion of people taking the streets as enough was enough, demanding an end to police brutality. Right at the height of this period of civil unrest, a statement of "my execution might be televised" by Freddie Gibbs stood out to me as the core of why people were in the streets in the first place. It addressed the problem so clearly, but it also reminds us of the media's complicity in exacerbating the problems. Gibbs on the album is speaking on the racial inequality that is plaguing African Americans, but that sense of earlier pride in the success he has acclimated quickly shapeshifts into the presence of a quality conscience. Gibbs is telling the stories of his brothers around him who are still living in an environment filled with poverty, violence, and the consistent lingering of grief snaking its way through the streets. Gibbs seems to feel a sort of shame come over him throughout the album. He is going through an exploration of derealization as he looks around at his environment with some good old fettuccine served on a silver platter, fast expensive cars, and an abundance of cash. Freddie Gibbs seems to make an interesting connection of what he is going through the lens of hip-hop culture and fascination with the Italian Mafia. From his gangster movie samples throughout his 35-minute routine, it celebrates the mafioso theme while omitting the ugliness. At the core, hip-hop love for the mafia seems to admire the criminality based in respect for the hustle above all else. From the rappers who talk about selling drugs in the hood and not wanting to be holed up in a dilapidated, vacant home, they want to be dining on fine china and designer clothes. Mafioso showed them how to do that. All white mafia people has always seen black people as second-class citizens. However, a deeper understanding can be made from the album, suggesting that maybe instead of the anti-heroes of a John Gotti or Tony Soprano, but Frank Lucas and Bumpy Johnson, who lorded over a black neighborhood selling drugs to black people. The 70s blaxploitation flick, The Black Godfather, suggests the narrative that a rapper who sells dope like Gibbs might aspire to, or maybe a street kid clawing his way to the top, fighting for control over his neighborhood. Criminal enterprise from its white interlopers might try to do the same, repeating a cycle.